Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. He's all slicked up. You haven't been slicked up in a while, in months.
In at least half a year.
Yeah, I would say. I mean,
At
some point this season, when I returned in studio, you had the glorious beard.
Yeah.
And now you're just like a new child, just like a fresh baby boy.
Yeah. I haven't
Bounce
decided
around.
if it makes me look younger or older. I haven't decided yet.
I don't know. I don't know that I could go one way or the other on you from
Miss
an
K
age.
said
thing.
younger, so that's I'll take that. But
I get that a lot too. Now of course, I've had a beard now for several
It's been
years.
years.
Three or 4 years consistently. I think I've shaved it off twice in the last 4 years. But I also, the reason for that is, I was on television all the years and I would have to shave every day. So it just was exhausting.
It's rotten.
I can't. 15 years of shaving every day. I don't want to do it for a while, so
awful.
I haven't. At some point, I will. I'll go back to all slicked up. I'm not going to have a beard for the rest of my life. At some point, I will go all slicked up. Time's not yet. The times that I've noticed when I have shaved it off is I realize how small my chin is. I go, oh, well, that's smaller than I remembered it being. And how big it feels like my lip is. My lip seems big, too, when I get all slicked up. It's like, boy, that's a big lip you got there, kid.
I don't think you have a big lip.
I don't think I do either, but I think that the beard provides it in a way kind of like
Context.
a makeup.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So that's it. But you look fantastic. Had a nice day to refresh.
It was a nice day to refresh the third wedding anniversary of me and the lovely Miss K. To be loved, what a feeling.
She was here.
To be loved. Yeah, she was here. Not me.
Not you.
Not me. But I was making preparations. I mean, we had, a wonderful meal, some nice gifts. It was a lovely day. A lovely day.
That's great. I'm very, very pleased for you and thrilled for you. We have a 50-some degree day out there today, which is going to then turn into rain tomorrow, Gibby, the official meteorologist of CBD. Gibby.
So am I going to win this?
No, I don't think so. Well, it depends on where all of the snow has to go, including the piles. So, like,
if it rains heavy,
that could do it, but then it's going to go to snow.
Freezing rain first.
So when's this start?
I feel like tomorrow morning. Like, I think the high for the day tomorrow will be achieved before we all wake up. And then it will just be downhill.
Wait now. Hold on. You're saying that the warmest it's going to be in the next 2 days is like right now?
Yes.
All right. So then I got it 56. Oh, the night you're at 54. Okay. So then by the time you're at 55 tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
Yep.
And then it starts, then you're at 50, 40. Okay. Oh, boy.
The bottom
And
falls
then
out.
bottom
1 to 3
falls
inches of
way
snow tomorrow
out.
night.
Oh, gross. I mean, this is going to be a stink. I mean, it's a lock. It's a snow day.
Could be a lot of ice.
Yeah, it's going to be a snow day. Great.
just great.
That's what's happening. It's going to rain all day. It's going to turn to snow, and you're going to get another snow day out of it.
I'm concerned about our departure on Friday.
Weekend. You ought to be. When do you fly?
Friday morning.
Direct or connect?
Connect.
Ooh.
Where
do
through?
you connect?
I think Charlotte.
Better than Chicago.
Yeah, we're going.
You have a chance. You got a chance there with the Charlotte.
Yeah, there is no direct to
there is.
to Chucktown.
There is.
There is?
Yeah, it's on JetBlue, I believe.
Oh.
I believe at JetBlue. I don't know if it flies every day, but I believe that there is.
That did not come up in our searching.
Well, that one isn't on the engines. That one you got to go. I believe that one you got to go seek it out. Yeah,
find it.
But I believe that there is, because I'm certain at one point in the despair of this January and February, which simply will not end, I said, where can we? I said to the blonde, I said, where can we get in today? Like, where can we get direct from here that's warm?
No.
And I remember Charleston popping up as one of the places that you could to get away from it all. So, yeah, that's where you stand on that front. I got one for you. I was listening to the Simmons podcast this morning on the way in. He had Kevin Clark in. Let's do a guess the stats out of you two. How many quarterbacks do you think are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
There's like 300-plus people in the Hall of Fame, like 340-something, I feel like.
Yeah, it's around there. There's some context.
30.
Gibby?
10%, I'd say.
65.
29.
Oh, that sounds about right.
What a job out of you. It's basically five a decade get in, going back to the 40s. It's basically five guys from every era get in. We are entering a point, and we're going to be in a point for a while, though, as the quarterback position has changed. And this gets back to the absurd Stafford conversation that's going on right now, as if his career's over. Whether he is or not. I mean, why don't we let him play the next 6 years and then we'll see.
Then we'll see where it's at.
See where it's at.
He has a chance now where before he had zero.
Correct. But it gets into a conversation of what are we going to do with all these guys? Because the position's never been more important.
Yep.
It's never been easier to accumulate stats or to play the position. And there's never been more importance put on it or more emphasis put on it. I think actually what the Rams did with Stafford will inspire some copycatting of people giving up. It used to be – it was really – you would not give up first-round picks. I think what the Rams proved is if you feel like you're a quarterback away and there's a quarterback, there is no price too high.
That's right.
For that quarterback. You want to give up five ones. Who cares? Like,
so what?
Go get the guy. That's it. That's the job. So I do think you're going to get to a point here where you're going to get a glut of these guys. And the standard is going to have to go up. There's some guys, we stumbled into the Aikman thing that is pretty remarkable that he's a Hall of Famer. He's part of a three-time champion, but it's stunning that he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, it really is.
Stunning.
There's others. Joe Namath, if you go look at him the last 7-8 years of his career, Kenny Stabler, like they're legends, right?
Yes.
And they quarterbacked great teams, but I don't know if they were necessarily of the level. There's several of those that are out there. Kurt Warner's another one. He had the real short stretch there with the Rams, and then he gets another bounce back with Arizona. But remember, he goes sent out at two places, the Rams and the Giants.
Yeah.
And he was a guy that got in.
Had,
Now, it's a great story, too, with him.
Didn't he at least have an MVP?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Like
Jim
Troy
Plunkett
Aikman,
has an MVP.
Troy Aikman doesn't even have a one All-Pro.
No.
And his numbers are dreadful.
Dreadful. Yeah.
Dreadful.
Right. Not even an All-Pro.
Warner's got two-time All-Pro and was the MVP.
Yeah. Matt Ryan is the one that's similar to Warren, except he doesn't have the Super Bowl championship. The one Super Bowl championship. Yep. He's got the game. If he were able to get in it and win it, then his would be interesting because he's got an MVP.
Right. There was that stretch, though, 99 to 2001, where Kurt Warner was maybe the best quarterback in the NFL. Like there was no.
Did it feel like it then, or did it feel like that their offense was? Because it was so much Marshall Faulk. It was so much. They had so many weapons. It was Faulk and Holt and Bruce and all of that. He was sensational. I'm not. This isn't something of bashing him. I'm not interested in that.
No.
Just from the standpoint of I don't know that that in that time, if I looked back on it, would I say he's elevating that whole thing, or is that just the perfect situation to play in? Is that fair? Does that make sense?
All of it, yes. But he was so good. I mean, he led the league in completion percentage 3 straight years, led the league in touchdowns 2 out of the 3 years.
Yeah.
We're talking 99, 2000, 2001. His 3 seasons back-to-back were, and one of them was only 11 games, but 16 games, 4,353 yards and 41 touchdowns and 13 picks. Then he had 69% completions, 48, 30, and 36. Led the league in yards per attempt 3 consecutive seasons. Nobody did that.
Who would have been? No, there's no question. You can't argue that. What would have been the contemporaries? Would that have been Favre?
99,
would that have been like the peak? Would that have been peak Favre at that time? Because that's right as Manning is getting going. It's before Brady has gotten started. It probably is Favre, but I'm trying to think who else would have been.
Favre was a Pro Bowler in 2000, 2001. Favre in those same 3 years completed 57%, 58%, and 61. Warner's 10 percentage points higher than him. Favre did 22 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, 32 touchdowns. 1 year had 22 touchdowns, 23 picks. His quarterback ratings were 74, 78, 94. Warner's were 110.
Yeah.
His yards per attempt were 6'9", 6'6", 7'7", and Warner was at 9'9", 8.5", 9. I mean, that's a pretty wild thing. I mean, that's right. Favre was 3 straight first-team All-Pros, 95, 96, 97. So, yeah, there's
a gulf in the quarterback position.
Gulf.
There just wasn't great quarterback play in that era. I just stumbled upon this. I will give you whatever cash that I have on me if you can guess. There are the top 5 for the MVP in 2001 without looking.
2001.
I'll give you 4. If you get the 5th, you can have whatever cash I have on me. 1 was Warner. 2nd was Marshall Faulk. They went 1-2. Brett Favre was 3. Brian Urlacher was 5. Can you guess who finished 4th in the 2001 MVP?
Can you tell me what position, or is that too much?
Quarterback.
2001. I can't even think.
Drew Bledsoe.
I can't even think who was playing.
I think I could give you 100 guesses. I don't think you'd get there. Cordell Stewart.
Never. No.
4th in the MVP in 2001. 3,000 yards passing, 14 touchdowns. Remember, Slash was a thing. 537 yards rushing. Finished 4th in the MVP.
Made the Pro Bowl. They went 13-3 that season.
You believe that?
I mean,
and keep in mind this, from his perspective, so that's 0-1. Like, he threw the Hail Mary to beat Michigan in 94. So, like, think how long Pittsburgh, he was kind of in the mix with Pittsburgh before eventually becoming the starting quarterback there.
He became the starter in 97.
Yeah.
He goes 11-5 in 97, then 7-9, 5-6, 7-4 in 2000 in 11 games, then 13-3, then 3-2, 2-5. He was out. He was already in Chicago. I don't remember his year in Chicago at all.
I remember the acquisition of him in Chicago because I liked the Bears at that time, and I do remember that. But at that point, it's done.
That's his one Pro Bowl, though.
But that I wouldn't have had that he started that many years in Pittsburgh. That's a long run.
So he was a starter for 5 seasons. Was the full-time starter, and obviously he entered 2002 as the full-time starter, so 6 seasons.
That's the injury, and then Tommy Maddox, then it's Roethlisberger.
Yep,
and the rest is history.
Yep.
On that front. But anyway, so the conversation around the NFL and the quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame, how does that write itself over? How do you put the importance of the position with proper perspective? It's a tricky one that's going to have to be had over the years because there's going to be incredible statistical accumulation, but are you going to let 10 guys in? Are there 10 Hall of Famers playing at once? It's hard to imagine that, right?
It is hard to imagine that. And again, I think the bar for being a Hall of Famer and the reason that the quarterbacks you would feel underrepresented, right, at 10% is I think you've got to have been the best or amongst the top 3 at your position and say it was stacked for a period of time. And now that could be a short period.
Does it need to expand to top 5 at your position for a period of time?
That's fine.
Yeah, I
but
just
you
wonder
have
if it's
to be
too
the
narrow.
best at some
The only thing is, like, quarterback, for the importance of the position, and if you and I think correctly, we rely on the All-Pro as how many All-Pros? Like, that's the first thing I look at. We've been doing that for a long time. You got to be the best at some point. But at that position, like, for example, this year Josh Allen wasn't even a Pro Bowler, which is stupid.
That's wild.
It's impossible that he wasn't a Pro Bowler.
Who were the Pro Bowlers from the AFC? Herbert,
Mahomes, Herbert. I'm blanking. Was it Burrow? Before he
would have been replaced then.
Right. They tried to get him to replace. He's like, no, I'm good.
Oh.
Ended up being Mac Jones or something.
Mac Jones was the Pro Bowler.
Well, but he was a replacement.
Farcical.
Guy. Yeah, it was farcical. Good job out of you. And paying proper homage to the great Al Michaels. NBA All-Star Weekend is this weekend. I forgot. Buddy of mine runs Facebook Sports, coming in town for this weekend. Texts me. He's like, dude, we got to hook up for dinner. I'm like, why are you here? What are you doing here? He's like, dude, the All-Star game. It's in your town. Totally forgot. Festivities start tomorrow.
That's amazing to me because I would have thought in your other program that would be a topic.
Not.
No.
No, it's just not. So you got it going on. People are excited.
Yeah.
Where's the epicenter of this thing? Is there a basketball place? That's like like in the NFL, there's the NFL experience. Like, is there something like that downtown for the hoops? Do you know Gibbe?
I feel like Gibbe, our man on the street.
Clue.
I'm going to Charleston, so I'm not.
You can eat at Husk?
I'll be in
We
Florida.
Good job out of you.
Yeah, of course.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
Not your first rodeo.
And Magnolia's just reopened. It had been closed down due to a kitchen fire.
So you're going to be able to knock them both out.
Get those.
You in a quaint southern inn, or are we in a resort situation?
We are.
You don't have to give the name. I don't want the fans to attack you. I'm just thinking more along the genre.
Overwhelming. They would. Yeah.
I don't want people to swarm you.
I
just was looking
appreciate that.
for a genre. More
We are not in a quaint. We are in a on the water resort that is
smart,
well regarded.
You're going to be able to.
She said I can.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Get her in the cart?
Maybe because I'm not bringing my clubs. I'm going to play some rental clubs.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not as fun for me.
Look out there.
This is.
Why would you not?
Bad.
If I had one of my golf to me is, I enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the last time I went and played golf by myself.
Well, you wouldn't. You'd have Miss K with you.
Sure, but I like to. We're not. There's no stakes. We're not putting anything on.
Oh, okay. You need a little juice.
A little excitement.
Little juice.
Okay.
There
Panache.
is nothing better than playing golf by yourself. Got your speaker going. Got a few.
We have
adult
that anyway.
bevs.
Love it.
That's all part of the experience.
I'm good. I'm doing that this weekend in
Yep.
Florida.
Yep.
At
I love
Walden,
that.
we get after it.
I love the love
I'll
the
play
solo
golf
flight.
with my 83-year-old mother-in-law and my kid at some point on the trip. We'll play 9 holes. It's great.
Yeah.
But, there are a couple days I'll get out. I don't care if I have to go at 7 a.m. I'll see you at the pool by noon.
Yeah. I like the solitude of it is
Yeah.
what I like because we talk all the time for a living,
I'm a social guy.
No
Captain
kidding.
Yellowstone's going to Arizona tomorrow for 5 days. He's not taking his clubs.
Who? Drew?
Drew?
Yeah. I go, what are you doing?
Where's he going?
I don't know. But he's like, oh, my dad's part of the trip, and my dad broke his foot. I was like, put him in the cart and give him a 12-pack.
Yeah.
What is the problem here?
Wow. Where in Arizona are they going? That's what I want to know. We don't know this.
I don't
yet.
have an answer for
All right,
you.
I'm texting you.
Phoenix for sure.
It was
And then
discussed in the
didn't
meeting
know
you
where
weren't paying attention to.
Like where else you going to? He's not going to go to Sedona. I don't sense him as a Grand Canyon guy. He's not driving down to Tucson.
I could say
but he's
Tucson's great.
Tucson is great, but he's not going down there.
Tucson's closer to the Cowboys.
Sure.
You get out in the
you
Sonora
get that
Desert.
in Scottsdale too. All you want.
You're very close to the OK Corral.
Yeah.
In Tucson.
Right. Yeah. We know what happened there.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. That's your weekend. It's set. We've got mock draft madness. Todd McShay with his most recent. And we know how these are going to go. There's going to be a lot of these going forward. We'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into some Browns position preview for the offseason. We will focus on the running backs. We are very, very good there. Are we too good? We'll get to that as the program goes along. Nick Shook with some grades on some rookies. Also go around the league, a little higher or lower, better or worse. We're off and running on a first Friday. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Beau here for my friends at EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk, from reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making. Gain a more complete real-time picture of your business. Eliminate Excel nightmares from business processes. Visualize your important data in one place. Gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and specific business needs, scalability, ease of deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're all about growth, and your software should be too. And with EOX Vantage, it will be. Your company will scale effortlessly. Check them out, www.eoxvantage.com. Local presence, but a global footprint, and trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. You seeing this this morning? Jeremy Fowler had a heck of a news dump from the Super Bowl. Did you guys see all that stuff with the Aaron Donald stuff? He had this stuff with Deshaun Watson eyeing on the Vikings and was it Vikings and the Bucks were the two teams involved there. There's a lot of chatter about Brady and the 49ers. So there's all of this stuff that's kind of out there. Or Miami, which I thought was strange. There's a lot of Brady-Miami conversation that's out there as well, which unless if that's about ownership, perhaps down the line, that would maybe make some sense. So all of that swirling in what will be a fascinating offseason. Todd McShay with his latest mock draft. First one we've seen from him, right? Is it? I'm pretty sure. Have we seen? Is this the first McShay? He's been off the grid.
I thought it was 2.0.
Oh, too bad you didn't have a light, Gibby.
Too bad you don't have a light to know you're not on the air and you're talking to nobody.
I think he had one out before.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
2.0. This is 2.0. So he has us taking He Who Shall Not Be Named at 13 out of Ohio State. And he says this to say about our situation, whether or not Baker Mayfield is still the Browns' plan at quarterback. The offense is begging for some pass catchers. Donovan Peoples-Jones led the team with 597 receiving yards. Jarvis Landry is 30 next season, has 1 year left on his deal. Tight end David Njoku, receiver Rashard Higgins, free agents. Wilson would immediately give Mayfield a playmaker. His best trait is body control, as he can adjust to passes in the air, but he is also a sudden route runner with fantastic speed and acceleration. I said this yesterday. Garrett Wilson, Jordan Reed yesterday. I said this about Wilson. His ability to track and high point the ball is the best of the guys I've seen out of Ohio State. And he can make a late snap on the ball better than anybody. A late adjustment on the ball, a hidden one. He just looks like a pro. He's just really ready-made. And I think Olave's ready-made too. I think both those guys are going to come in and be great right away. But this is going to be – I think it's going to be just like the tackle year, right? Like it's just a matter of which one. Like we're taking a tackle that year. We took Jed. We're taking a receiver. It's just a matter of which one.
It feels to me like our first two picks, provided we have them, are going to be a receiver and an edge rusher.
Yeah, that's what these tend to look like. Jordan had it that way. He had us go receiver, edge rusher.
Which I love. Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Important positions. Key to the modern National Football League game.
Yeah. So you're going to take this. We're just getting getting a handle on this receiving core and what they're all about. Got some comps from Jordan yesterday with his. He had Garrett Wilson as a Stephon Diggs comp a little bit in terms of the comp there. And not necessarily that they would become these players, but just the way that they play. He had Chris Olave as Will Fuller, which that one was surprising to me.
Just a pure speedster?
Yeah, and that's really not Olave. I think Olave's more of a Justin Jefferson type. Like I think he's just precision is what Olave is. He doesn't probably have the post catch is it the home run hitter ability there, although I never seen him get caught from behind. But to me it was just precision route running with Olave. And Wilson just got a little bit more of a higher.
How big is Olave?
Big enough. 6 feet probably.
Like he reminds me, just based on how I've heard him described, he reminds me of Antonio Brown more than he reminds me of a Justin Jefferson.
I don't think he's as explosive as AB was.
Okay.
At his peak.
But AB was a great route runner, in and out, shifty.
Yeah. No, I don't think shifty when I think Olave 6'1", 190. I think more smooth. That's where I think of the Jefferson comp, is just how smooth Jefferson is in and out of breaks. I think Olave more has that. How tall is Justin Jefferson?
So Danny Kelly also did a mock draft.
Okay.
And in his thing for each person, he gives you a shades of.
Oh, so Jefferson's the same height, 6'1". So they're the same
for
size.
Olave, he has shades of Stephon Diggs. For Treylon,
Olave does not have Diggs' explosiveness.
His burst.
No.
Treylon Burks, he has Deebo Samuel with a power-up mushroom because he's 6'3", 230.
So what I didn't realize about Treylon Burks, and that's who Reed had mocked to him, what I didn't realize about him is that the previous year he didn't really play receiver. He played everywhere. He was a running back. They put him in motion, played quarterback some, and receiver. So this was the first year he actually played receiver.
And he led the SEC in explosive plays.
Yeah. He was kind of he was their one guy who do it all type dude.
And for Odell, he has shades of, for Garrett Wilson, he has shades of Odell Beckham on Red Bull.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think Odell's ability to late adjust in routes to the ball and to get his hands up late that he did early in his career and what we saw from him when he was at the Rams, I think that's a pretty good comp. What does he have for Jamison Williams?
Let's see where he has that. By the way, he's got for Malik Willis shades of Jalen Hurts with turbo boosters, and he has the Steelers going and getting him. Kenny Pickett shades of Romo. You asked for Drake London, Slim Mike Evans, or Dennis Rodman. Jamison Williams, Jerry Jeudy on 1.5 speed.
He's not quicker in and out of break than Jeudy. He's not that. He's faster top end probably than Jeudy, healthy. He would be somebody if somehow he slips because of injury, and I don't think he will, but if he did, you might want to come back in and go grab him.
I
like if you could get he who
I'm
shall
all
not be
about
named
that.
at 13
and then
come back in
all
and
about
get Williams and then put them together.
Yeah.
Now you're off.
I'm all about it. Look, I'm not afraid of guys that are elite who are coming into the season draft time with an ACL. Look at Jeffrey Simmons. That's the one I'll go back to. Jeffrey Simmons was a top 5, top 10 talent.
Yep.
Wouldn't Williams have been the first receiver taken if he were?
Yeah. Yep.
So you have a supreme talent. ACLs are not what they used to be.
Right.
Especially for a young guy like that. Simmons is now a top 5 interior wrecker.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you're saying what's my dream, and I might float that out there when I'm tasked with creating a mock, I'm coming back into the first round, and we're going to get both of them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think if you learned anything, we don't need to fill that many positions. We need elite game changers at a couple of spots and give up a lot to get it if you need to. You're in a window. Go.
Sure.
That's where it is. So be as aggressive as need be to try to get that thing done. There are going to be a lot of these mocks between now and then. The next big run of them will be out of the combine. You get a little better feel for everything coming out of that time. Speaking of rosters and not positions of need, running back would apply. We will take a look at our running back position into the offseason coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Position review, and then preview. We'll go through the roster here over the course of the next couple of weeks, and we start at the running back position, where obviously we are one of the best in the league. Rushing yards per game, 145.4 last year, 4th in the NFL. Rushing attempts, 28th, which I would not have had.
We didn't run
chasing games.
And we just didn't run as many offensive plays as a lot of teams.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You got to stay on the field. You got to convert third downs.
Third downs are pretty big. We didn't stay on the field. Nick Chubb in the 14 games, 228, 1259, 8 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, boy, did we miss him. Just
only
8 games. Jeez. 78 for 386 and 5 scores. Dearness Johnson, incredibly effective with 534 yards, 3 touchdowns on the year as well. So that's where you stand in terms of what did happen. I think when we look back on it all, the Kareem Hunt thing is the glaring thing that jumps out to me because of how little he played. And I know Dearness was great. Like, he was certainly more than able. But there was something that Kareem gave us, and some of it was his ability and that he's one of the best running backs in the league. But some of it is the intangible. There's a heart and soul thing with Kareem that I think this team missed last year when he was injured. And it's not something you can measure statistically. You just measure it with feel. And it's just a different feel when he's there and when he's not.
Right. And the problem that you get into, I think, right now, if you are the Cleveland Browns, is that what you don't know and what you don't understand is how do you have so much talent in this room? How do you distribute that talent? What decisions do you make about that talent in a league that has de-emphasized that position? And so that to me is going to be a fascinating thing that people much smarter than myself are going to be contemplating here with the Cleveland Browns. Kareem Hunt's impact was major. And so we talk about him being in 8 games. Well, if you go back and look at the first 6 games, which was prior to the injury against Arizona, 361 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, 161 yards receiving. That's 522 total yards and 5 touchdowns. So just under, 100 total yards a game and a touchdown a game. So it's basically what, 85, 90 yards a game, just under 90.
Yeah.
Like 87 yards a game and just under a touchdown per game. And you're right, massive, massive for what we do. But you look at this team, as you mentioned, Chubb was 2nd in the league in rushing, 3rd in yards per carry, 2nd in yards after contact, 2nd in yards after contact per attempt, 2nd with 41 runs of 10 or more yards. Pro Bowl 3 straight seasons, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Guy's averaging 1,273 and 9.3 touchdowns per season. He's never been below 5 yards a carry or 8 rushing touchdowns in a season. So you've got Chubb. Kareem Hunt is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And then you talk about Dearness Johnson. 100 rushes, 534 yards. That's 5.3 yards a carry. 3 touchdowns, 19 catches for 137. In his 2 starts, where he was the full guy, Denver and New England, 41 rushes, 245 yards, and a touchdown. That's 6 yards a carry. 9 catches for 80 yards. In those 2 games, 325 total yards and a touchdown. 325 yards and a touchdown. He was the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. He had Pro Football Focus's highest running grade of the season of any running back, just evaluating their performance on rushing plays. There is too much talent there. And so I think they need to take a look at this room and say, okay, Dearness is a restricted free agent. So I imagine you'll put a tender on him. It's maybe a 2nd-round tender would be my guess. You've got Chubb on a long-term deal. Kareem is entering the last year of his deal, or maybe through 2023.
Yeah, I think so. I think last year.
There are real decisions to be made about what you do in this room, because the way that this room is built, it is incredibly talented. Yeah, this is the last year of Kareem's deal, 2022. You get Chubb through 2024, Dearness restricted free agent. You looked at the numbers of what the leading rusher on the Super Bowl champions have been. We're built differently than the teams that are winning Super Bowls right now, and that's okay. It comes down to the quarterback first and foremost. We know that, and we want Baker to return to the 2020 second half form, or what we saw prior to the injury at the beginning of this year.
Yep.
But do you need
this
much investment?
We love these guys, but
in this room. So that begs the question, are you contemplating, creating an asset out of the surplus of talent that you have in this room? And that's a question for it as the head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, strides by.
Well, he was striding.
That
First
was
time
a
I've
stride.
seen him in a while.
Yeah, same. Got a little tip of the cap for the fellas there.
Yeah.
So that's the real question. What do you do there? Dearness Johnson feels to me like a guy that would be the perfect number 2 running back on this team for a long time. And right now, he's young. He's got limited in terms of the wear and tear on his body, limited carries that have been taken in the National Football League. He clearly fits our system. Or do you say that's a guy that might have a lot of appeal to a Miami with Mike McDaniel down there now? That's a guy that might have a lot of appeal to the 49ers, although Elijah Mitchell looks like he can be the guy there. But Dearness Johnson's also a guy that could be a lead back in this league, and I think be very successful doing so. You don't need 3 number 1 running backs on your roster.
No, and the tricky thing is
he's 25.
They're better than the give back is going to be. The get back is going to be. They're all 3. I mean, Nick's the best. I think he's the best all-around running back in the league, and Kareem's I think in the top 10 when healthy. And the get back in any sort of, if you're trying to put him into some sort of deal, it's just not going to be there. And you mentioned the 49ers. You just draft them if you want. I mean, how many running backs did they draft? They had Mitchell and
Sermon, who was their third-round pick.
Who didn't do anything, but Mitchell was good.
Great.
So you're getting really great players at the position later in the draft because it's not in a position of importance in the league.
And if you have a guy that can thrive in this scheme, the Jets would be a team I think that would be interested in Dearness Johnson as well. You need a running back that understands the scheme, and then if they do, and they understand the tempo, they understand the track, they understand the north-south, the cutbacks, all of it, they fall forward, which yours says, he's a 1,000-yard back. You put him in Miami next year with that offense and with Waddle and the talent that they've got there, and that coaching staff, he's going to be a 1,000-yard back. You put him with the Jets. I'm trying to even think of who the Jets drafted, the other Michael Carter.
Yeah, the kid out of North
Carolina.
Yep.
They had the Ty Johnson. But they don't, he would come in and he would be, Dearness would be the guy there.
Yeah.
This is a position where you are stronger than you need to be in the National Football League in 2022, bottom line. So can you maximize that to your benefit and address something that you're weaker than? That's the question. I don't know the answer to it. I tend to think with you, the return you're going to get is not commensurate with the talent that would be going out the door.
Yeah.
So I think your best case scenario, though, is that you just bring Dearness back, you suck it up for this year with all 3 of them, and then things are going to shake themselves out naturally anyway.
When would you say was just for folks to understand, we were having that Hall of Fame conversation about the quarterbacks. You think about what's happened at the running back position, big picture in the league. Could you make an argument that I was trying to think of the last Super Bowl participant where the offense went through the back? So Marshawn Lynch would probably be the answer,
yes.
Right? But that was the defense, and they had Russ.
They had Russ.
Young Russ. Seattle's the other one, too, with Sean Alexander. They reached it and lost to that Pittsburgh team.
They were robbed, but yes.
Yes. That Pittsburgh team with Sean Alexander was built on the ground game. The Steelers at that point were kind of pivoting off of Bettis. He was still obviously the focal point, but it was Willie Parker he had the long run.
Yeah.
There aren't many in the last 20 years where the focal point and the best offensive player is the running back. It hasn't been that way. And unfortunately, the Titans were a team, but it does kind of feel a little bit like their window is – we have our first significant injury to Derrick Henry. They've been all in for a while, and they can't quite get there. They were the 1 seed. Obviously, we've seen when paying of McCaffrey, the paying of Zeke Elliott. Like, it's just it doesn't pay out the dividends. And if you're not – all this league is about offensively right now is explosiveness. It's big plays, explosiveness. If you're not, it's tough.
And that's what makes Nick Chubb special is that he is explosive while at the running back position, the 41 carries of 10 or more yards we talked about. But, think about it this year. You could not have been more productive or better as a running back than Jonathan Taylor was. They didn't make the playoffs. Yep. Dalvin Cook is incredible. Now, they've made the playoffs, but they haven't gone on a deep run. Alvin Kamara is incredible. They've made the playoffs. They haven't gone on a run, although they would say that if they don't call that penalty in the NFC Championship game, a couple years ago they had a chance. But they also had Drew Brees. I mean, you could say Alvin Kamara, but that was still an offense that went through Drew Brees. McCaffrey's never sniffed it, even though the year he had 8,000 total yards. Chubb certainly helped us get to the playoffs. Kareem was the one scoring in the playoffs. In that 2020 season, they became the fourth duo in NFL history to both have more than 1,200 total yards and 12 total touchdowns in the same season, did Chubb and Hunt. But that's not – we're loaded. Loaded. But this is not where you need to be loaded necessarily, to your point, to be an elite NFL franchise. And I think for the Browns, I'll tell you, it probably was not in their philosophy, just if you're thinking from a philosophical standpoint and a roster-building standpoint, to do what they did with Nick Chubb and reward him that way because, when's Kyle Shanahan paid a running back big money?
Right.
And his running game is good every year.
Yeah.
But Nick Chubb was drafted here. Nick Chubb has done everything the way that you want him to do it. Nick Chubb embodies everything you want this organization to be in terms of his work ethic, in terms of his demeanor, in terms of his off the field, on the field, just class.
If he is,
so
he
you
is
had
what
to reward him.
What you want the Browns to aspire to be.
Correct.
He's the personification of it.
Right. So
right.
You have to bend, your inherent philosophy. Now, that's where it gets into. Kareem, you sign on it's a very team-friendly deal. You have Kareem on. Now you've got Dearness in the mix. Again, this is a position group that I could see them running it back, and I could also see them trying to leverage an asset in that room to get a wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really it. And we saw it time and time again this season when you were talking about, people would say, why'd we stop running the ball? Well, because there are 9 guys sitting there waiting, and there's not enough people to block the defense that is there. And I don't care how good Nick Chubb is, and I think he's, like I said, best running back in the league. But it doesn't matter how good he is. He can't make 2 guys miss.
I'll go back
to this. There just aren't enough people to block them all. So if you don't have the other part of it, which is the pass game, the explosiveness, the fear, if you don't have those things, by the way, for all of the Odell Beckham Jr. talk, you saw it in the Super Bowl when he was there and when he was not. We saw it every week. We would look at when he was there and when he was not. And we know the production wasn't there on the field, but go watch the All-22 from pre-Beckham, post, how teams were playing us. Totally different.
Completely different. He commanded double teams. Even in the touchdown, they triple-teamed him, and Kupp ends up wide open. Nick Chubb, I'm going to say this again, ran for 1,259 yards. 968 of them were after contact. He averaged 5.5 yards a carry. He averaged 4.3 after contact. So that speaks to just how congested the boxes were, just how much and just how special Nick Chubb is. To average 0.3 yards a carry after contact, he is a special player. But this was not a situation where, and we did hit some chunk runs, obviously. Our scheme is so good, and our offensive line is so good, and the coaching is so good, and our running backs are so good. But until we get better at the quarterback position and for Baker Mayfield to play the way he did in the second half of 2020, it's going to be tough sledding. And until we get playmakers on the outside that change the way defenses have to deal with us, it's going to be tough sledding. See, the difference between 2020 and 2021 is when teams wanted to stack the box on us, Baker was accurate, our guys got open, and he made them pay. In 2021, we did not make them pay after that injury, and that changes what you're able to do fundamentally as an offense. The scheme works. And I'm so sick of the talk the scheme doesn't work. Go just watch the film and tell me there aren't guys open.